America is changing, quietly, quickly, and much faster than anyone wants to admit. The rhythm of daily life, how we shop, how we pay, how we communicate, has shifted under our feet, and most people haven't even realized how many familiar things are already on life support. We grew up with certain realities. Waiting in line at Blockbuster, flipping through cable channels, holding a crisp receipt after buying something at the store. But those worlds are gone, and the next round of disappearances is coming even faster. Not because people hate the old ways, but because technology, inflation, corporate consolidation, and cultural shifts are rewriting the American lifestyle at a pace nobody can outrun. And here's the part most people miss. It's not just about gadgets disappearing. It's about the end of habits, the end of routines, the end of small pieces of life we never thought we'd lose. So let's break it down. What's disappearing first? And why? Number 10, landline phones. Landline phones aren't dying. They're practically extinct, and the last 5 years will finish the job. These were once the heartbeat of American homes. You knew the sound of your own ringtone. You remembered friends' numbers by heart. You answered without knowing who was calling. It was a different world. But today? Most Gen Z has never even touched a landline. They grew up in a world where communication lives in your pocket. Texts, FaceTime, WhatsApp, location sharing, voice notes. A static phone plugged into the wall feels like something from a museum, not a modern home. The numbers tell the same story. Over 80% of US households have already cut the cord. The only people still holding on are rural residents with bad cell coverage, elderly Americans, and businesses that never updated their systems. Even they are being pushed toward digital VoIP services because traditional copper line maintenance is too expensive for telecom companies to justify AT&T, Verizon, and major carriers have openly admitted they're phasing out old landline infrastructure entirely. Why is this happening? Because cell phones replaced every function a landline offered, except its reliability. But guess what? Even reliability doesn't matter anymore when almost every home has high-speed internet and backup power banks. Convenience beat stability, mobility beat tradition, and cost sealed the coffin completely. A typical landline bill is $30 to $50 a month. For what? Calls that can't be made outside the house, caller ID that's outdated. No texting, no apps, no portability, no flexibility. It's a bad deal in a world where unlimited smartphone plans cost the same and offer everything. In the next 5 years, landlines won't just decline. They'll disappear from American life entirely. And when they do, we lose one of the last pieces of a slower, more grounded way of living. Number 9, paper receipts. Paper receipts are next in line to disappear, and honestly, the process is already happening right under everyone's nose. Most people haven't noticed because it feels subtle. A cashier asking email or text receipt, a store saying it's digital only, a restaurant tablet offering no receipt as an option. But when you zoom out, the pattern is massive. Retail giants like Walmart, Target, CVS, Whole Foods, Best Buy, and hundreds more are phasing out paper receipts to cut costs, reduce waste, and push customers deeper into their digital ecosystems. Every printed receipt costs money: ink, paper, machines, maintenance, replacements. For a corporation with 10,000 locations, that's millions in expenses just to hand people a scrap of paper most will throw away within seconds. But that's not the whole story. Paper receipts also represent liability, returns, disputes, fraud. Digital receipts allow companies to track purchases perfectly, adjust marketing, push ads, recommend items, and link everything to loyalty accounts. Every email receipt isn't about convenience, it's about data harvesting. And consumers, without realizing, are saying yes. And let's be blunt, most consumers prefer digital anyway. No more stuffing wallets, no more losing receipts, no more keeping shoeboxes full of little slips. Tax season becomes easier. Warranty claims simpler, returns faster. So what disappears? Not just the paper, the small rituals around it. The moment you check the total, the way you fold it, the crinkling sound, the proof in your hand. Within 5 years, paper receipts will only survive in small mom-and-pop stores and outdated systems. Everywhere else, digital only. And with that shift, America fully enters the era of cashless, trackable, automated commerce, whether people are ready or not. Number 8, checkbooks and physical banking. Checkbooks used to be a symbol of adulthood in America. You weren't responsible until you could balance a checkbook, write a clean signature, and drop that little slip into the mail. For decades, it was the backbone of paying rent, utilities, car payments, everything. Banks handed them out proudly. Parents taught kids how to fill them out like it was a rite of passage. But now, the entire checkbook culture is collapsing. Not slowing down, collapsing. Banks know this. That's why they're quietly shutting down physical branches all across America. Over 4,000 branches have closed since 2020, and projections show that as many as 40% of physical banking locations could disappear in the next 5 years. They're expensive to staff, they require security, they don't generate enough foot traffic, and most customers prefer digital banking anyway. Every time a branch closes, something else disappears. The personal relationship, the banker who knew your name, the teller who helped you with money orders, the safe, quiet environment where you felt grown up handling finances. Now, it's just apps, bots, and automated chat assistants making decisions for you. In 5 years, checkbooks will be like VHS tapes. Remembered, maybe missed, but completely irrelevant. And physical banking, it'll be a luxury service, not a normal one. The era of hands-on banking is ending. The era of digital money, visible or not, is taking over. Number 7, shopping malls. Shopping malls were once the heartbeat of American suburban life. You didn't just shop there, you lived moments there. Teenagers hanging out after school, families buying Christmas gifts, kids begging for pretzels and arcade tokens, first dates at the movie theater, people walking laps in the morning for exercise. Malls were culture. Today, that culture is dying in slow motion. Over 25% of America's malls are already dead or dying. And the rest? They're barely hanging on online shopping killed foot traffic. Inflation destroyed discretionary spending. Big box retailers collapsed one by one. Sears, JCPenney, Macy's, Bed Bath, and Beyond, leaving giant, empty anchor stores that no mall can survive without. Once an anchor dies, the smaller stores follow like falling dominoes. Developers know it too. That's why malls are being repurposed into Amazon warehouses, medical centers, call centers, even churches. Not because they want to, but because there's no profitable way to keep them alive. The American mall didn't just lose shoppers, it lost relevance. People don't browse anymore, they search. They don't walk store to store, they scroll. They don't want mall hours, they want 24/7 convenience fast delivery, instant returns, zero effort. Even when malls try to adapt, adding food halls, trampoline parks, gyms, experiences, it's a band-aid, not a cure. And then there's safety. Many malls face increasing theft, vandalism, and security concerns. Families no longer feel comfortable spending long hours there. Retailers don't want to pay high rent for low traffic. Investors look at malls as sinking ships. Emotionally, this one hits hard. Malls were the last big social spaces before the smartphone era took over. Losing them isn't just losing stores, it's losing one of America's last shared communal experiences. In 5 years, the word mall will mean something completely different. Not a hangout spot, not a shopping hub. Just a memory of a time when America still gathered in public. Number 6, gas-powered small cars. Small gas cars were once the backbone of American affordability. Civics, Corollas, Sentras, Focuses, Elantras. Cheap to buy, cheap to fix, cheap to fuel. They carried students, workers, new parents, retirees, everyone. They were the trusted middle ground between luxury and struggle. But the small gas car segment is disappearing. Fast automakers aren't killing them because people don't want them. They're killing them because they're no longer profitable. SUVs and crossovers have bigger margins. Electric cars have government incentives. Luxury trims bring in more revenue. Small sedans? They barely break even. Add stricter fuel standards, EV mandates, and rising production costs, and automakers made their decision: stop building affordable cars. Ford killed the Fiesta and Focus. Chevy killed the Cruze and Sonic. Toyota and Honda are pivoting heavily toward hybrids and SUVs. The remaining gas sedans are disappearing year by year. Meanwhile, EVs and hybrids dominate the headlines and government policy. States like California are pushing toward full bans on new gas vehicles in the near future. Even if those deadlines get delayed, automakers are moving ahead anyway. The emotional cost is bigger than people realize. Small gas cars represented independence, especially for young Americans. And once small gas cars vanish, they're not coming back. Number 5. Physical cable TV. There was a time when cable TV ruled American living rooms. Families gathered around the couch at 8 p.m. sharp because missing a show meant waiting a whole week for a rerun. Kids woke up early for Saturday cartoons. Sports fans argued over ESPN highlights. News cycles were shaped by CNN, Fox, MSNBC. Not algorithms, but cable TV is collapsing, and not slowly. It's free-falling. 10 years ago, cable had over 100 million US subscribers. Today that number is below 70 million, and analysts say it may fall under 50 million in just a few years. Streaming didn't just compete. It ate cable alive from the inside. Why? Because cable is outdated, overpriced, and inflexible. People don't want a 200-channel bundle when they only watch 5. They don't want to pay $180 a month when Netflix is $15. Prime Video is basically free, and YouTube streams everything from news to sports highlights instantly. And let's be brutally honest, cable's biggest problem is the experience. Endless ads, clunky remotes, mandatory contracts, hidden fees, and channels nobody asked for. It feels like paying a premium for frustration. Meanwhile, streaming platforms are fighting for your attention with insane budgets, no schedules, instant binge watching, and full personalization. People now expect content to follow them: phone, tablet, laptop, TV, not the other way around. On top of that, cable's last big anchors, live sports, are starting to drift. NFL, NBA, MLB, and even college sports are signing massive streaming deals. Once sports go fully digital, cable TV loses its final lifeline. Number 4. 24/7 stores. There was a time when open 24 hours wasn't special. It was normal. Gas stations stayed lit all night. Walmart never locked its doors. CVS and Walgreens felt like emergency lifelines at 2 a.m. Even diners, corner stores, and local marts proudly hung glowing neon signs, open 24/7, no matter what. But that America is fading fast. The pandemic didn't start the collapse. It just exposed how fragile the 24/7 model really was. Overnight, thousands of chains cut late-night hours, and most never restored them. Today, the US is quietly shifting from a round-the-clock convenience nation to something slower, darker, and more restricted. Why? Because running a store all night is no longer worth it. Rising labor costs, staffing shortages, and double-time pay have flipped the math upside down. Many businesses simply can't find workers willing to sacrifice sleep for barely higher wages, and those who did try found themselves understaffed, overworked, and burnt out. Then there's reality. Late-night crime is exploding. Convenience stores, gas stations, pharmacies, and fast food spots have become hotspots for robberies and shoplifting. Companies quietly admit it's cheaper to close early than to hire security or deal with nightly losses. Even the giants are backing out. Walmart, once famous for being the always-open king, now closes most stores by 11 p.m. 7-Eleven, ironically, isn't even open 7 to 11 anymore in many states. McDonald's, once a 24/7 staple, is cutting late-night hours in thousands of locations. In the next 5 years, true 24/7 businesses will be rare, mostly limited to hospitals, a few truck stops, and maybe some big city hot zones. For everyone else, late-night America will be quiet, dim, and closed. Number 3, movie theaters. Going to the movies used to feel magical. Sticky floors, loud speakers, overpriced popcorn, none of it mattered. The big screen, the crowd, the atmosphere. It was part of American culture, first dates, family nights, midnight premieres. Movie theaters were a shared escape. Now, the theater model is crumbling. Streaming changed everything. Studios know this. That's why they're sending movies to streaming faster than ever. Some bypass theaters completely. The theatrical window that used to be 90 days is now sometimes 17 days or less. Theaters also can't survive on good movies. They rely on blockbusters. But Hollywood is producing fewer guaranteed hits. Franchises are burning out. Budgets are exploding. Audiences are tired of reboots, sequels, and CGI overload. Cinemas are trying to reinvent themselves. Reclining seats, food service, alcohol, luxury screening rooms. But these upgrades cost millions, and most chains can't afford it. So what's left? A future where movie theaters don't disappear, but shrink. Fewer screens, fewer locations, fewer showtimes, more niche events, premium formats, and special releases. The regular Friday night movie trip becomes rare, maybe even nostalgic. But in 5 years, theaters will be like vinyl records, loved, appreciated, but no longer the center of entertainment. Number 2, traditional job interviews. There was a time when getting a job in America meant sitting across from a human being, shaking hands, making eye contact, showing your personality, and proving you were worth the chance. Your resume mattered, but your character mattered more. You were evaluated by people who understood the value of grit, loyalty, and real-world experience. That world is ending. Traditional job interviews are disappearing, fast, and not because companies want to innovate. It's because hiring is being automated, streamlined, and cheapened. Human judgment is being replaced by algorithms. More than 70% of major US companies now use AI screening tools. Many require automated video interviews, where your face, tone, expressions, even micro-reactions are analyzed by machine learning models that decide whether you're a fit. Candidates are filtered out in seconds with no explanation, no feedback, no fairness. And for millions of Americans, especially older workers, this shift is brutal. Then there's remote work. The pandemic normalized online hiring. Recruiters realize they don't need offices, travel, or schedules. They can hire people from anywhere with automated assessments, skill tests, and virtual processes. It's cheaper, faster, and completely detached from the human side of employment. In 5 years, traditional in-person interviews won't disappear completely, but they'll become rare, used only for high-level or specialized roles. The average worker will be assessed by AI before they ever speak to a human. The handshake era is ending, replaced by screens, scoring systems, and algorithms that decide your future long before you enter the room. Number 1, middle-class starter homes. This is the most heartbreaking disappearance in America because it hits the foundation of the American dream. For decades, owning a modest starter home was the first step into stability. A small house, a manageable yard, an affordable mortgage. Nothing fancy, but real A place where families began, kids grew up, and wealth slowly built over time. These homes were the backbone of the middle class, not because people don't want them, but because the system no longer produces them. Builders refuse to construct affordable homes. Why? Cheap home costs almost as much to build as a high-end one, but sells for far less. So developers chase luxury buyers, not working families. That's why new construction across the country is dominated by giant suburban houses, upscale communities, and expensive rentals. Meanwhile, land prices are exploding. Permits are a nightmare. Labor is expensive. Materials cost more than ever. Cities restrict density, and investors snatch up entire neighborhoods before families even get a chance to bid. In the next 5 years, starter homes won't just become rare, they will become symbolic relics. The handful that remain will be fought over fiercely, new ones won't be built. And the middle class will shrink further as home ownership becomes a privilege, not a milestone. When a nation stops building affordable homes, it stops building its future. America isn't collapsing overnight. It's fading slowly, quietly, through rising prices, shrinking opportunities, and a growing sense of exhaustion. Streets once full of life are quieter. Stores that anchored communities are shuttering. Families work longer hours just to make ends meet, while the hope that tomorrow will be better seems to slip further away. The question isn't just whether the US can survive another recession. It's whether it can survive losing the very foundation that made it thrive. Which of these changes touches you the most? Which disappearing aspect of America makes you pause? And what do you think we need to hold on to before it's too late? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Living Wise Global, your window into America's changing story, where we uncover what's really happening beneath the headlines.